Gary Watson. And when people complain about dead white male authors cluttering up the reading lists of American and English literature courses, what they're really complaining about is that those guys take up room which could be filled by someone like, say, Nancy Hale and her novel, The Prodigal Women. Now, Nancy Hale, you probably have never heard of. I hadn't either until this was republished just a couple of years ago. She was a fantastically successful author in the 1930s into the 40s. She wrote over 80 short stories, which appeared in The New Yorker, which is eminently a record. She won 10 O. Henry Prizes for the best American short story of the year. Pretty impressive stuff. And this novel, The Prodigal Women, it's a hefty one too, came out in 1942, big bestseller, scandalous at the time, and it's very, very good. It follows the lives of three young women, Lida, Maisie, and Betsy, who come from affluent backgrounds in a suburb of Boston. And it follows their difficult, in some cases tortured lives from their teenage years all the way through to what you might say early middle age. The time period covered is from the 20s into the late 30s. What makes the novel a cut above, is its detailing of the difficulties of married life, of relationships with men experienced by women of that time. Now, it's considering Nancy Hale came from a privileged background, certainly the women's experiences are colored by that. Her writing is colored by that. But it is at times brutal look at the hard facts of life for women of that era, including everything from abortion, backstreet abortions, up to the emotional and physical abuse, which simply had to be endured. There was no turning to the police or authorities or shelters of any kind. It's not all grim, and it's a fascinating portrait of a particular time and place. It's a real forensic deep dive into Boston society of the 1920s, of an environment Nancy Hale knew well. She was one of the Boston Blue Bloods. It's certainly worth your while familiarizing yourself with this novel and hopefully digging around and finding some more works by her, wherever they might be. So again, that's The Prodigal Women by Nancy Hale. Here's a book I can hardly recommend. It's my own, The Skeleton Palms. It's a contemporary noir novel set in Malibu, Palm Springs, Las Vegas, and a lawless town in Northern California. It's dark, it's violent, but it does feature the grim and grisly deaths of various billionaires, which is always a good thing. And if you're a reviewer on one of the various social media platforms, feel free to drop me a line and I'll send you a review copy.